Good evening to you and welcome to ITV News. This is Friday night's calendar.
And these are tonight's main stories.
Looking to the future, Rob Burrow's father talks about his hopes for the new year as an MND treatment centre prepares to open this summer.
Rob was never one for publicity, but I'm sure, he would be very proud to have his name associated with it. It's been difficult, but we've got to keep going for the kids, and it's what Rob would have wanted.
The weather is due to take a severe turn for the worst. Kerry will have all the updates.
Yes, our weather warning for the weekend has been escalated to amber to parts of the region. I'll have the very latest on what to expect, where and when.
And when the snow and ice comes, we rely on gritters like this to keep the roads clear.
Also on the programme this evening, the wartime refugee whose work has been recognised in the New Year honours.
And Cooperman, I meet the craftsman rolling out the barrels in time-honoured tradition in Wensleydale.
Good evening. First tonight, Rob Burrow's father has spoken about his hopes for the future as a dedicated centre for motor neurone disease is due to open later this year.
Jeff Burrow and his family spent their first Christmas without Rob following his death in June last year after a 4-year battle with the condition.
Let's hope the MND treatment centre, dedicated to the former Leeds Rhinos legend, could be part of a cure in the future. Helen Steele reports.
In the back garden, we've got a bench. We all put flowers there, and it's been lighting up on a night. We all had a nice smile and a drink and proposed a toast to him. He was still with us, but not in person.
The Burrow family Christmas was that little bit quieter without Rob.
We're glad 2024's gone, really, but it's been difficult, but we've got to keep going for the kids, and it's what Rob would have wanted.
2024, of course, was the year in which Leeds Rhinos legend Rob Burrow lost his fight with motor neurone disease. But he left behind a legacy so huge it could change the future of the disease forever.
I'm very excited about the plans for the MND Care Centre. To be here today to see the potential site is fantastic.
This is the centre today.
This is going to be the entrance, isn't it? It's the simple things that make the biggest difference, and this is going to be the entrance, so a drop-off point.
Rob received his diagnosis at Seacroft Hospital. It wasn't just difficult to be dropped off, leaving was even harder.
I'll always remember when I first met Rob, and I felt that I hadn't really given him the dignity as he left the room, because he left the room to an open space where there were lots of patients there. After having heard really difficult, bad news,
Today the centre's well on its way to completion. Transformed from an outdated old building to one where Dr Agam Jung's 95 patients and more can be treated. When Rob first came up with the idea, it seemed like a pipe dream.
A lot of people said, it's a bit silly, you're never going to do it, but they have done it.
More than half of the £6.8 million was raised by this friendship, the efforts of Kevin Sinfield and an army of fans and fundraisers. Crucially, there'll be a research department here.
Rob was on the treatment that hasn't yet been licensed. And one day somebody is going to come up with something different and say, wow, we've got something. I think Rob would be chuffed to bits if a treatment was found and it was found in the building that had his name.
That dream could soon become a reality, with the Rob Burrow Centre for MND set to open in the summer. Helen Steele, ITV News in Leeds.
Now, an amber weather warning has been issued for most parts of our region as heavy snow is predicted for the weekend and is expected to cause serious disruption.
Yes, 30 to 40 centimetres could fall over parts of the Pennines, which could bring power cuts as well as causing very dangerous travel conditions. Well, Kerry is with us. Kerry, this really is real concern, isn't it?
Yeah, we're genuinely worried. We've escalated it to an amber. It could even escalate further as tomorrow progresses. So I would say, firstly, before I even start, please tune into the forecast tomorrow. Some of us will sleep through it, some of us will wake up to it, and some of us will have transient snow, which turns back to rain. So I'll try and explain things. So we've basically got this dividing line between some very cold and dense air over the UK and a warmer situation coming in from the southwest, housing rain. And it's the boundary line between that is really crucial, because as we head through into Sunday, some parts of the region could stay in that cold air all day. So we've got a weather warning in place. It's actually it's a split amber warning. Amber means be prepared for disruption, and that's because the lower one, or the one further south, is also for icy stretches, even if we get the rain, the snow turning to rain. So I'll zoom in a little bit closer. So this is Saturday evening. By 9 o'clock on Saturday, the rain started to work its way in. This is the boundary line of those warnings there. So if I run the current forecast, you can see that a lot of it is turning to snow through Saturday night and into Sunday. And even where we finish at midday on Sunday, it is still snowing over Leeds. And the warnings, basically 3 to 7 centimetres quite widely under those warnings. Anywhere above 150, if you think Leeds Bradford is 200 metres, anywhere above 150 could be in excess of 30 centimetres of snow. And right over the tops where we genuinely say, oh, it's snowing, it's our prone spots, that could be even more than that. So our prone spots definitely getting some snow, but even at lower levels. We've also got further hazards. So we've got blizzard-like conditions, some strong winds, so blowing snow and drifting snow. We've also got the risk of freezing rain, particularly for Derbyshire, where basically you get rain falling on frozen surfaces even if things are starting to thaw, and that's treacherous for driving. And on top of that, potentially, if we get that warm air nudging in from the south, a rapid thaw. So it sounds really dramatic and some people will escape it, but it's my job to message it, so I'm messaging it.
And it's not just about the roads, is it? I met a lovely lady today, Pam, who watches the programme. She's worried about the pavements.
Of course, honestly, like if you don't need to go out the first half of Sunday, I'd say please don't do that. It's a cold winter weather event that we're messaging. So yes, please be extra careful if you're travelling about it. Just, have a lie in on Sunday, stay in if you can.
OK, Kerry, thank you very much indeed. Now, plainly, there's potential for big problems over the next 48 hours or so. At the front line of dealing with the roads, at least, are, of course, the Gritter teams.
Yes, they're preparing for the worst, and Vicky Smith has been to Sheffield for the latest on preparations there.
Well, as that Arctic blast hits the region this weekend, many of us will be trying to stay off the roads, but there are going to be teams exceptionally busy on them and trying to keep them clear. One of the gritters behind me is Jessica Ennis-Chill. She's going to be out tonight with a fleet, the whole fleet of gritters in Sheffield as well. And joining me now is Councillor Otten. Now, first of all, how busy are you expecting it to be this weekend?
Saturday night we're expecting a huge amount of snow. There's an amber snow warning, which is very rare. So the whole operation is going to be flat out, keeping the roads clear as best we can.
And we're stood in front of a huge mound of salt, thousands of tonnes here. Is there enough to last through the weekend?
Oh yes, no, we've got enough. We've got this huge salt dome precisely for this occasion. We've got a fleet of 19 gritters, which have been named by a public competition, which we're very proud of. People and places from Sheffield that we love, and so we're all ready to go.
And Sheffield is built on 7 hills. Does that present its own challenges for a cold snap like this? It
does. We have we grit 60% of our network, which is one of the highest in the country for the number of roads that we grit. And part of that is the terrain, and it's the large rural areas, factors like that make Sheffield better but different.
And if you are out on the roads in Sheffield, what's your advice to people who might have to go out this weekend?
Well, look, you've got to be really careful. Please don't travel if it's not necessary. If the conditions are hazardous, be mindful. People do have accidents. People do get stuck. If people get stuck on the roads and the gritters can't get through, then everybody else will get stuck as well. So please try not to do that.
Thank you so much. So as you've heard there, and as you heard from Kerry, there are plenty of warnings out across the region this weekend, but as will the teams here, trying to keep everyone as safe as possible and those roads clear.
Yes, thank you, Vicky there. Now, you can keep up to date with the latest weather warnings and developments on our website. It is, of course, itv.com/calendar.
Next this evening, the amazing story of a World War II wartime refugee who fled Germany at the age of 4 arriving in Yorkshire in 1940.
Liesl Carter came to England through Norway and Sweden on her own and ended up living with foster parents in Leeds, while her mother, who fled Germany before Liesl, lived in London.
Well, she's had an incredible life, and now her work with the Holocaust Survivors Friendship Association has been recognised in the New Year's honours. Well, earlier we spoke to Liesl in the studio and started by asking how she got out of Germany.
Well, my mother left Germany in summer of 1939, just before war was declared, but the authorities wouldn't allow her to take me with, so I had to be left with members of the family, and a short time I was in a children's home, and she was working in England with a family in Hull, trying to get permission for me to travel. And then, of course, September, war was declared and I was stuck in Germany.
What happened to you? Because you were Jewish, you were German and
Yes,
you were Jewish.
yes, yes.
But you weren't safe.
No, I wasn't safe because people were being taken away all the time.
And travelling on your own
And
as well, with
travelling
no
on
parents.
my own, nobody with me, by myself. So people were meeting me and putting me up for the night and then putting me on the next train. And eventually when I finally left in December 1939, the war had been on 3 months. So I was in obvious danger all the time.
And you arrived in England in January 1940.
1940, yes.
A 4-year-old little girl.
Yes.
And we have a photograph of you as that little girl, don't we?
Yes.
What do you remember about that photograph, Lisa?
I'm wearing a brown velvet dress with a lacy collar. That was in September 1940. And there was a photographer that had his studio on Boar Lane, and that's where that photograph was taken. I had a problem reading English, but I picked it up all right.
And you've got a Yorkshire accent now,
Of
of course, a
course.
Leeds accent.
Well,
and do you consider yourself a Yorkshire lass?
I do, yes, definitely. Twice over, because my husband was from Leeds as well. And I do consider myself, I'm very proud to be a Yorkshire girl. Yes, Yorkshire's been very good to me.
And we must skip forward to the current day.
Yes.
And of course, all the work you do in schools, telling
Yes.
your story, which is very
Yes,
important, and
yes.
which has led to you getting the BEM. So what was it like when you got a letter telling you were in the New Year's honours?
I was a bit shocked because I don't consider what I've done is important, not like these people who go out and save lives and that. I didn't think it was that important, and I couldn't tell anybody.
Somebody who likes telling stories,
Yes.
having to keep a secret.
And I'm so open. My life's an open book. I don't hide anything. So, yes, I had to keep the mouth shut.
It's been fantastic to meet you. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
And congratulations once again.
Oh, well, it's been lovely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you
I feel
so much for
very
coming
honoured.
in. We are honoured to meet you.
It's lovely. Everybody's been so kind as well. So, and I wish you both a very, very happy New Year.
And the
And
same
to
This
to
is
you.
the second New Year for me.
Of course.
Because we celebrate our New Year in September and October.
Of course.
Not
yeah.
that I'm religious.
Well, I'll tell you what, you do a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, the lovely Liesl there. Still to come on the programme. Yorkshire Air Ambulance celebrates a special anniversary as fundraising continues for the life-saving service.
And maintaining tradition, I meet one of the country's last remaining cast makers, sharing tricks of the trade in North Yorkshire.
In other news, a rugby league player from Halifax has been sacked by his club after being charged with rape and sexual assault. Kevin Appo, who's 25, has had his contract with Bradford Bulls terminated after being charged with multiple sexual offences. He's due to appear at Bradford Magistrates Court on Monday.
Now, apparently we're spending more on takeaway food in this country than ever before. It's a sector expected to be worth £17 billion by next year. And a growing trend is for the food to be cooked, not in traditional restaurants, but instead prepared in what are known as dark or cloud kitchens.
What? Well, these are shared facilities designed to cater for the delivery market. They're also allowing new businesses to have a go in the catering world without having to make long-term commitments to premises. Kevin Ashford reports.
Yiting is developing a new food business, a Chinese version of the Asian-style poke cuisine. And this cloud or dark kitchen, where facilities are shared with other catering ventures, was a way of getting it off the ground.
We start this new idea at home, but we have many regulations. We can't really use our house, so because of the law, basically, we want our business to be kind of like standard and safe, and people think it's like a good food. So we choose cloud kitchen and dark kitchen to kind of like start our business properly.
Now, this sort of setup is becoming increasingly common in the food industry, especially attractive, for example, to small businesses who might not want to commit to a long-term lease. They simply want to get into a kitchen and start cooking.
So we have 6 different kitchens. We have 3 upstairs and 3 in the basement.
This is one of the newer cloud kitchens. Users include takeaway companies, businesses looking to supply supermarkets, and established restaurants needing a bit of extra room.
The big advantage is the price and the flexibility as well. So you can utilise the space for pop-up events, for kind of short-term rentals to prep for an event, or to do longer-term rentals. So you don't have that same commitment that you would have if you were renting your own restaurant or if you're buying your own restaurants.
Gary Hutton owns this pizza restaurant in Sheffield. He says he'd be open to using a dark kitchen if necessary.
It is something that we would consider doing, yeah. If we got to a point where we were so busy that we couldn't keep up with the deliveries and what we were doing in terms of eating and pick up, then yes, I could look at a premises locally. It would have to be kind of local. But yes, it is something we would consider.
This employment rights charity recently won a tribunal case for a dark kitchen worker for the way she was treated after she became pregnant. Lawyers here say parts of the sector need more supervision.
In restaurants, you have a neutral third party, right, the customer. But in dark kitchens, it can be often just the workers. There might only be a few of them. And I think that, providing for some more systemic oversight in these places can really improve the rights of the people working there.
It's not clear just how many cloud kitchens there are in the UK, but with the restaurant sector under growing cost pressure, an increasing number of businesses could see them as an attractive option. Kevin Ashford, ITV News.
Next, a milestone anniversary for a charity which has been saving lives right across our region now for a quarter of a century, would you believe it?
Yes, it was 25 years ago this year that the brand new Yorkshire Air Ambulance was launched. Here are some pictures from 2000. Originally based at Leeds Bradford Airport, back then it was just the one helicopter serving the whole of Yorkshire. But the charity has started 2025 with 3 aircraft.
This is their 3rd helicopter, which the charity took delivery of just before Christmas. Ben Bason's been down to the Yorkshire Air Ambulance base, which is near Wakefield, to find out more about their 25th anniversary.
Well, this is where it all happens, where the team are based, ready to respond at any time of the day to emergencies across Yorkshire. And this is the start of a very special year for Yorkshire Air Ambulance, marking 25 years of saving lives across Yorkshire. And as you can see, this aircraft is ready to be packed up to go out on a job. As we mentioned, a 3rd aircraft has been added to Yorkshire Air Ambulance's fleet. Now that's out on a job at the moment, saving lives, but it's really going to make a huge difference to the operation here. Let's speak to one of the pilots, Paul. Paul, just tell us, first of all, a little bit about this new aircraft and what difference it'll make.
So, much in the same way that your car needs to be serviced regularly, so do our aircraft, especially with some of the interesting places that Yorkshire has to offer when it comes to landing a helicopter. So what that 3rd aircraft really gives us is the flexibility to be able to put our aircraft into the maintenance that they need so that we can continue doing the job, but it also gives us the redundancy as well. So when an aircraft breaks, as they do, same with any kind of car, we can immediately switch to the other aircraft and we can keep online, keep saving the people of Yorkshire and keep doing what we're doing.
25 years this year. How vital has this support been for the people of Yorkshire over the last quarter of a century?
25 years is a long time, so I think first off it's really important that we say thank you to the people that have kept us going for 25 years. It's allowed us as a charity to keep saving lives. It's allowed us to be there for the people of Yorkshire, and it's allowed us to continue doing what we're doing and just being a service for the people.
And some people might think that you get NHS funding or government funding, but you're completely a charity, completely reliant on donations, aren't you?
Absolutely, every donation really counts, no matter how small. It's vital to keep us going.
Well, thank you very much. I'll let you get back to your preparations for the next job. Well, to mark the 25th anniversary, Yorkshire Air Ambulance put on a really spectacular drone display. We can see some pictures of that now. It was gifted to them by a company that did the display for the Queen's Jubilee, and doesn't it look amazing? And that is just the start of this year. Loads of events coming to mark the 25th anniversary in 2025.
Yes, they do a great job, don't they? Now, finally, when you're walking past a pub and there's a fresh delivery of ale, you probably don't give much thought to the casks being unloaded from the lorry. Perhaps after our next story, though, you might think differently.
Theakston's Brewery, based at Masham in North Yorkshire, is one of the last in the country to employ a cask maker called a cooper, all because since 1927 the family-run firm has been determined to keep the tradition alive.
Yes, so I took a trip to Lower Wensleydale to meet a cooper, Ewan. It's loud, it's hot, and it's extremely physical. The work of a cooper is a true craft which cannot be replicated by a machine. For the past decade, that's been the job of Ewan Findlay, who's extremely proud of his craft.
There's no designs or anything, you've got to do it all by eye, and that's why it's a long apprenticeship. Just you get it wrong a few times before you get it right. And after a while, just honing them skills, and you get pretty precise after a while.
It must be an honour, really.
It is, yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I believe there's 6 coopers and 1 apprentice in England. It's great in the sense of that since we're so niche, it's respected more, but additionally it's quite worrying in the sense of that the trade could eventually end if we don't pass on these skills and keep the trade alive.
Simon Theakston heads up the business and is the 6th generation to run the brewery. Just like his predecessors, he knows the importance of having a cooper. We see businesses modernising and moving on and doing new things and whatever, but here tradition is so important, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's such a rare thing these days. And the honour of having a cooper here is something that we treasure and revere. And so for as long as we can, we will continue always to have a cooper.
What do you look for in that person that you appoint as a cooper?
He or her has to be very strong because it's a very physical job, very skilled, very coordinated. You will use 14 different tools to make a cask, and all these tools have been handed down from generations. He's outstanding. He's one of the best coopers we've ever had.
Obviously holding the hammer, I'd hold it in the middle of the shaft, don't hold it towards the end, you'll get a bit more control this way, and then just tap it.
So if I'm going to learn how to do it, it's only right that I learn from the best in the business.
Just like that and get the hook tight on it, okay? This is just friction that holds
So
this.
like
So stand that way, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
like
the
that.
one.
Like that.
Hammer, yeah. One. More powerful.
I don't think I was made for this.
That's better.
But it didn't stop there. There was more to learn.
So massive hit into that.
A
As
massive hit?
Yeah, big as hard as you can. It doesn't matter if you miss.
Okay.
It's fine.
I missed.
Stand straight over it. Stand straight over it.
Right.
That's better. That, yeah. There we go.
There used to be coopers everywhere. There's hundreds, thousands of them all up and down the country. The older generation usually knows what a cooper is, but the younger ones do not. It's not something I was looking to do. It was just by chance that I fell into the job, basically. So I played rugby for Ripon, and when I turned 17, my coach came up to me and was like, "Do you want to be a cooper?" And I was like, "I don't know, do I?" And then I went there, had a day, like trial day, absolutely loved it. It was hard work, very hard, and my hands were absolutely killing me. And then, yeah, just stuck at it, and here we are, like 10 years later.
Yeah. So what do a cooper's hands look like?
Not too nice. No, the wife isn't too impressed by them, but
she makes you wash your hands. When
yes, absolutely. Not allowed to touch the walls.
This ancient skill has become something of a tourist attraction, with thousands of visitors coming to the Dales from all over the world to see Ewan's work.
It's such a rare skill, so I think when they see it in action, they're surprised and absolutely fascinated. We've employed coopers here at Theakston for nearly 200 years. I'm so proud that we've still got a cooper and that we're keeping the coopering tradition going. Before long we will get an apprentice for Ewan, and he will be able to train that apprentice up and become a master himself.
Now, talking of tradition, I know that there was a certain ceremony that you had to go through, didn't you, when you became a cooper?
There was, yeah. So it's called the truss lining ceremony. 4 coopers all walking in tandem to bend the cask. They put me inside of it. It's hot, and then it starts to get very loud as all the coopers are banging it and closing it in around you, so not only is it loud, it's hot. And to top it all off, they got the malt, hops, yeast, covered me in that, rolled me around a few times, and then I'm officially no longer an apprentice. I'm a journeyman cooper. When I was getting rolled around and covered in rubbish, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Luckily for Ewan, I don't think there's any danger of me graduating anytime soon.
Precise.
Advise
Precise.
And hopefully by the time that I've finished up doing this job, hopefully I've got another 40 years in it, and hopefully I can train up a few people within that time and continue the trade.
Now, in my defence, Laura, I didn't play rugby for Ripon and I haven't got muscles on my muscles.
No, and possibly not a talent for that either.
Thank you.
Let's go to Kerry.
Today's forecast: seafood and sugar cube towns. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello again. Yes, snow is the weather word as we head into the weekend. Today, plenty of sunshine after a frosty start, and under those clearer skies, fairly widespread frost tonight. The risk of some fog patches and, of course, anything wet likely to freeze. A cold but dry day tomorrow, and then some disruption from snow as we head into Saturday night and early Sunday. There's an amber weather warning in place. The extreme is 30 to 40 centimetres possible right over our mountain tops, but even at lower levels between 5 and 15 centimetres. So do stay tuned to the forecast over the next 24 hours. As we head deeper into tonight, it's mostly dry, but still a few showers likely, and that could produce some icy stretches. There will be a patchy frost and some patchy fog, with temperatures hovering just above or just below freezing, certainly in rural spots as we head towards dawn. So a cold start to tomorrow, potentially foggy, a mostly dry day, but as we head into the afternoon, we'll start to see high cloud developing from the southwest, and it will turn any sunshine hazy. The winds light for now, and temperatures struggling to get much higher than 2 or 3 Celsius. So it's into that cold air. The area of rain starts to nudge in from tea time, pushing north and eastwards throughout the night and into the early part of Sunday. Even Sunday afternoon, still continuing to snow over our highest hills north of Leeds. Elsewhere, there'll be some heavy rain, the risk of some disruption still, staying cold all the way through into next week. So the added risk of icy stretches and some wintry showers with sunshine into the week ahead.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Well, we've definitely been warned.
Yeah, cold for the week ahead and definitely some snow for a good portion of us into the weekend. Yeah, do take care.
Yeah, do take care out there. We want you back safe and sound with us again on Monday. Enjoy your weekend despite the weather. Good night.
Keep warm.